What's going on, community? Just got big news, big green candles, really cool stuff when it comes to Grayscale and their appeal against the SEC. So the short on this is so Grayscale is a large trust. They manage like 3% of the Bitcoin, billions and billions of dollars. It's a really big company. They're actually part of DCG, and DCG owns a handful of other smaller things. They have they have some media companies, they have some mining companies. They're very, very huge. They're involved in a lot of the ecosystem. But by far their biggest product is Grayscale. So sometimes you'll see that listed out as GBTC. So it's paper Bitcoin. Again, if you're in the kind of the RH sphere, you've heard them refer to this a lot. A lot of times we actually look at either the premium or discount that it has over kind of spot Bitcoin or true Bitcoin pricing to kind of ebb and flow and see, how bear and bullish some of these, some of these market factors are. So specifically on this here, they've been wanting to convert to a spot ETF. They had been denied multiple times, and then they filed suit against the SEC saying that, hey, this is irrelevant. It's not fair. It's not being passed on correctly. They had approved two other similar ETFs, but they had not approved Grayscale. And this is a big deal, right? So there's a basic principle that cases that are similar should be treated the same, kind of the basis of just kind of Western common law, right? So this is a big deal. Again, it's a big part of how Grayscale can get involved. Grayscale has been having some money issues. That's why you saw some of the discounts. So DCG has other problems with Gemini. There's a lot kind of going on behind the scenes, but specifically around the CTF, here's why this is a big deal. It's a big deal because we're seeing pushback against the SEC. You don't really see that very often at the appeals level, like where we are right here. That's a big deal. The other is specifically what was appealed and how it was written here. So I want to read this kind of verbatim because I think this is a pretty interesting side here. So this is the circuit judge's opinion. It is a fundamental principle of administrative law that agencies must treat cases alike. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, recently approved the trading of two Bitcoin futures funds on national exchanges, but denied approval of Grayscale's Bitcoin fund. Petitioning for the review of the commission's denial order, Grayscale maintains its proposed Bitcoin exchange traded product is materially similar to the Bitcoin futures exchange traded products, and it should have been approved to trade on the NYSE ARCA. We agreed the denial of Grayscale's proposal was arbitrary and capricious against the commission because the commission failed to explain its different treatment of similar products. We therefore grant Grayscale's petition and vacate the order. Okay, so the short on that is this doesn't actually mean that they're getting the approval. It's saying, hey, this denial is not okay. This order to not allow it, right? The big part is why. They said it was arbitrary specifically. It was arbitrary and capricious. It is not with similar, case doctrine that they had. They're not being treated the same. That's the big win here. So there's obviously the win in the market, another avenue for, TradFi and, these other sort of traditional instruments to get exposure to Bitcoin and take advantage of what we have in the crypto ecosystem. But again, in the appeals court, they specifically challenged the SEC on arbitrary and capricious. So again, we've talked about this a lot, enforcement by or regulation by enforcement. They're saying, hey, you can't just arbitrarily apply these rules. That's a big deal. So this is a large win. Obviously, everyone likes a big candle. We're seeing kind of a pump across the ecosystem. But again, I think, pumps ebb and flow. I think the big thing here is the SEC, even at the appeals court, is being challenged saying, hey, you can't just make these decisions. Like, you're not the arbiter of truth. You have to follow the law, stay within your bounds, stay within your jurisdiction, and make concise movements. And you can't just sit here. And again, this regulation by enforcement environment won't continue, right? So now we've seen XRP take a win. We're seeing Custodia Bank and Caitlin Long and kind of some of those heroes on that side. They're taking wins. We're seeing, again, Coinbase is leaning in. The SEC is a bit on the back foot here. They don't take a lot of losses. So this is a big one. And again, especially how it was listed out. So this doesn't mean that they're going to get their spot ETF, but to challenge the SEC and say, hey, you can't just keep making decisions here. Like, there needs to be a framework and be able to move move similar for the rest of these guys, and that the market needs to be able to understand what's okay. You guys don't get to sit here and pick and choose. So this is a big win. Let me know what you guys think. Follow up again. I'm going to touch on a lot of these topics here as we go. Now we're getting into some really big wins, I think, for the U.S. jurisdiction and market, and they've got to be competitive, right? Like, people want to invest. They understand how valuable the cryptocurrency ecosystem is becoming, and the more tools we get like this, the better we're going to be. So y'all keep me up to date. Let me know what y'all think on this.